When it comes to sounding fluent, when it comes to sounding native, sounding better, the most important thing is not grammar. Grammar is secondary. The most important thing though is pronunciation. And in this video, we're going to be talking about one pronunciation hack that works every time. Coming up. Hey, if we're just meeting, my name is AYD and welcome communicator. Welcome to the English Intern community, where we don't just learn English but internalize English to facilitate communication. And if you love the sound of that, could you consider subscribing to this channel? I'd really appreciate it. Now, before we go into the contents, let's get one thing straight. When it comes to pronunciation, you got to understand what words are made of, and let's learn the fundamentals of pronunciation. Every word on the planet is made up of syllables, okay? What are syllables? Syllables basically are the basic units of words. For example, the word comic, C-O-M-I-C, has got 2 syllables. Comic. The word historic is made up of 3 syllables. Historic. They're the basic components that make up a word. That kind of makes it sound like the real thing. Now, in order for you to figure out how the real pronunciation of a word goes, every word made up of syllables has got a stressed syllable. Essentially means every word has a syllable that is emphasized a little bit stronger than you would the other syllables that make up the word. This is going to make a lot of sense to now. Now that we got the fundamentals out of the way, let's go right into the content now. In this video, we're going to learn every word for the rest of your life that ends with an IC. We're going to learn how to pronounce the word now. Any word for the rest of your life that ends with an IC, for example, comic, historic, demonic, whatever it is, right? Magnetic, any word for the rest of your life. If you want to figure out how to pronounce every word that ends with an IC, you're going to stress the syllable right behind the IC. I reiterate, for the rest of your life, every word that ends with an IC, comic, historic, magnetic, diabetic, you are going to stress, the stress syllable is going to be the syllable right behind the IC. So let's take, for example, the word comic. This is going to be revolutionary, man. Think about the word comic. How do I figure out how to pronounce this word? Okay, it's an IC, yes, with an IC, so it means automatically the stress syllable is going to be the CO. The syllable right behind the IC, the syllable right behind the syllable that has the IC is the stress syllable. Comic. So that's how I figured out the pronunciation. I go comic, not comic. No, you have to stress the syllable right behind it. Comic. I love to read comic books. Let's go to the next word. Historic. Okay, I said the word H-I-S-T-O-R-I-C. It's got an IC. As long as it's got an IC at the end of it, the real stress is on the syllable right before the syllable that has the IC. So I know it's not historic. No, that's me stressing the H-I-S. I know it's not historic. No, it's got to be historic. Historic. That is so fascinating, man. Let's move on to the next word. Take the word genetic. Okay, it has an IC. So I know the stress is on the syllable before the TIC. So the word becomes genetics. Okay, genetic, not genetics. No, genetics. This is so cool. Let's go to another word. D-E-M-O-N-I-C. It ends with an IC. So the stress is on the syllable right before the IC, which is the syllable before the NIC, which is demonic. That is demonic. That is demonic. This is really cool. For the rest of your life, every word that ends with an IC, you stress the syllable right before the last syllable that has the IC. Comic, historic, demonic, genetic. So fascinating, people. Think about what a revolution that would be to know from now on for the rest of your life. Any word you see that's got an IC, however long, however short, the stress of the word is going to be the syllable right before the syllable that has the IC at the end of it. That's just so revolutionary. It changed my life a couple of years back when I learned it, and I know it's going to change your world if you just master it. Any word for the rest of your life that ends with an IC, the stress syllable is the syllable right before the syllable that ends with an IC. Iconic, poetic, historic, magnetic. Once you learn that, you're going to be able to automatically generate the pronunciation. Did you hear that? Automatically. Automatic. The stress has got to be the syllable right before the syllable that has the IC. automatic. Really cool, man. Just try it out and let me know how it goes. So there you go, a pronunciation hack that works every time. Let me know if you got value out of the content. If you love it, could you give it a thumbs up, share the video, watch it over and over again, recommend it to other people who might be interested in this kind of content, and let's grow the channel. Thank you for watching this video anyway, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. See you in my next video.